Now, in this video, we are going to see some demo with C++ array. So we are going to learn how to do all these different operations like declaring an array, initializing an array, change the value at each index of that array, then finally printing the value at each index of the array, all these things through a C++ program. So let's start with the first one, like declaring an array. Just in order to connect with what you already know, let me declare one normal variable first. Let's say I want to declare an integer variable of name var and initialize it with number 10. So let's do something like this: int, then the variable name will be var. You can choose any name of your choice, and I want to initialize it with the value 10. So this is an acceptable integer value in C++, and if I run the program, then okay, everything is fine. So variable 10 have been assigned inside the var. Now let us try to declare an array. Now think of what is an array doing. In a normal integer, you are just assigning. Normal integer is made to store only one value, one integer value, or any normal identifier is designed to store only one value. That is, this int var is designed to store only one integer. Similarly, if it was character, it could store only one character, no more than that. But when it comes to an array, it is supposed to store more than one data item. So when declaring, you have to specify the size of the array also. That is, how many data item you want to store inside that array. So instead of just writing int var, you have to write like int. Let's say the name of the array is array1. You can use any name of your choice, array1, array2, your own name, or whatever it is, followed by this size of the element. That is, how many integer you want to store inside that array. That should be kept in this box bracket. So the meaning of this line now is I have declared an array of name array1 which can store 4 integer data item. Similarly, if you want to declare a character type array which can store, let's say, 40 data items, what you can do is character, then call array2, and you want to store 40 different characters. So write down 40 in here. And instead of 40, it can be 400, it can be 500, or any number of your choice. So let us see whether this is acceptable syntax in C++ or not. So, well, of course, it is accepted. And these are warnings, so because these are not initialized. So now let us get rid of array2 and let's just focus on array1 to understand the other operation. So let me delete this, and now initializing an array during the declaration. So we learned how to declare an array, the data type followed by the name of the array followed by the size of the array, that is how many elements you want to store inside the opening and closing box bracket. Now if you want to initialize the array during declaration, then in normal variable what you need to do, you just initialize the variable using this equals followed by the number. Now if you want to do initialize all the entire array, the each index of the array, you have to pass multiple value. And if you want to initialize, you have to use this syntax. That is, inside opening and closing curly brace, you have to write down the element for each index. Let's say in the index 0, I want to store 2. Then index 1, I want to store 4. Index 3, 0, 1, 2. Index 2, I want to store 7. And then finally in index 3, I want to store, let's say, 10. Something like this. Now always remember, the count for index in an array starts from 0, not 1. So this 2 is at the index 0, not index 1. This 4 is at index 1, not index 2. So always start the counting from 0. So start practicing saying that elements at index 0, or instead of saying element at first location. So this is how you can initialize an array. Now if I want to check that, okay, whether this array have been initialized properly or not, so let's try to print it. So cout, if I want to print the element at index 0 of the array, I have to write down like this: array1 followed by the index that you want to print, that is cout array1 0. So here I want to print the element at index 0 of array1, so I am expecting 2 as the output. So let's see whether it print 2 or not. So it printed 2. The same way, if I want to print the element at index 0, 1, 2, and let's see whether it gives 7 as output or not. So let's run it, and 7 have been printed as an output. So this is how we can initialize an array in C++. Now how can we change the value of the array? Now from the array perspective, you can access each of the element by using this array variable name followed by the index. So in order to change the value of the variables, value of the array 1 in each index, you can simply do this: array 1. Let's say you want to change the value at 0th location to, from 2 you want to change it to 5, or let's say 55. Let's say then array 1, you want to change the value at index 1 to, instead of 4 you want to change it to, say, 64 or something like that. Then array 1, at the element at index 2, you want to change it from 7 to, let's say, 103. And then array 3, if you want to change it, then you can do something like 306, something like that. And well, you do not need to write everything in the same line. I just wanted to save some space. You can use this one also. So let us see whether it has changed the value successfully or not. Now if the value have been changed successfully, instead of printing 7, this line now should print the value 103, because array 1 at index 2 of array 1 I have stored 103. I have changed it. So let us see what it prints. So here, okay, so I just used array 1. So now, as you can expect, that 103 have been printed. So 7 have been successfully changed to 103. The same way, if you want to print the element at index 3. Now it will print 306, not 10, because it is changed. So like this. So now you have understood how to access, how to initialize an array, how to declare an array, how to initialize an array, how to change the value at each index of the array, and also you have learned how to print the element index in the array. So in summary, while declaring, you have to specify the size of the array, how many elements you want to store, and then onwards, if you want to access each of the element, either to store the value in that index, or to print out the value, you have to use that index along with the array name, like array 1 0, array 1 1 2 3, something like this. And this index or the size should be put inside this box bracket. Now, one thing you should remember here, that during declaration, this box bracket is used to specify the size of the array, the full size of the array, how many elements you want to store. But then onwards, this box bracket is used to access the element at that specific index. So that is all about declaring, initializing, and accessing element in an array.